You are listening to Viewing, an audio fiction series written, directed, and produced by John Fitch. Performed by Matthew Johnson. Music by Stephen Bias. This is Episode 5.
Scott bolts upright. He's on a bed in a dark bedroom. Where am I? In a flash, he sees Riley, bleeding from the head. Then another flash, Cooper's face, splattered with blood. He scans the room. Looks like a dorm. He's fully clothed. Up-tempo party music blares from the living room through the closed door. A party? He stands. The room spins, tilts. He steadies himself, reaches for the door. The bedroom door pops open. Scott stumbles into the living room where the party rages. Strobe lights pulse. Black, blue, and red lights glare. Scott scans the room. It spins around him. Face after face, writhing bodies, laughter. Ada and two other interns emerge from the blur. Hey, Scott, you feeling better? What did you do to me?
What did you do to him? You were in there for a while.
Ada elbows him. Scott stumbles away from them. What did you put in my drink?
Whoa, buddy. You need to lie back down.
Ada grabs his arm, steadies him. I need to find Doug. Okay, we will. Scott retches.
Gross.
Here, let's get you to the bathroom first. She leads Scott toward the bathroom. In the lobby, Brett and Cooper emerge from the elevator and stride toward the main security desk. Brett addresses three Blackbourne guards sitting behind it.
This is Mr. Cooper, our new head of security. As of now, you'll take orders from him.
Jenna and Wallace stride forward. They're followed by two mercenaries in plain clothes that barely conceal body armor and weapons. They carry small rucksacks.
These are my associates. You will answer to them as well.
He leaps behind the desk, inspects the security cameras.
These are all the cameras? For the entire building?
One guard nods. Cooper sighs. Can we at least seal off the entrances and exits? In the bathroom, Scott gathers cold water from the sink, splashes it on his face. The party music throbs from the door. Someone knocks. Scott, you okay? He glances at his face in the mirror. His eyes are glassy red, huge pupils. He sways, stumbles for the door, bursts into the living room. He pushes past Ada and some interns into the kitchen, careens toward the refrigerator and snatches an energy drink, then searches the cabinets. He finds a jar of coffee beans, swallows a handful, chases it with a drink. Scott, what are you doing? The interns laugh. Scott chokes down more caffeine. Stop, you guys. Scott, I think you need to lie down.
He's just partying!
Scott rushes to the front door, spies a golf bag resting behind it, grabs a club. Hurries out the door into the hallway. Hey, where are you going? Scott, wait! Ada stops at the open door, grabs her phone, texts. In the lobby, Cooper's phone buzzes. Ada's text. He left the apartment. He's still on floor 10.
Shit.
Cooper signals Jaina, Wallace, and the mercenaries.
What's the target?
Cooper shows them a photo of Scott. He snatches a radio headset from the desk, leads them to the elevators.
Soft extraction. No shooting. I need him alive.
They sprint for the elevator. Cooper punches the call button. He opens a tracking app on his phone. It shows Scott's location, the hallway on the 10th floor. He presses his radio talk button.
This is Cooper. Nice and easy, everyone. Just make sure the building locked down. We'll do the rest.
The elevator doors open. The crew boards. Cooper selects the 10th floor. 10 floors above, Scott rushes down the hallway toward the elevators. The caffeine begins to take effect. He's a little sharper, but still unsteady. He hears Ada in the near distance. Scott, come back! He stops at the elevator, reaches for the call button. A flash. An image. Cooper's face. Guns. In the elevator. He turns, spies the entry to the stairwell. He checks his phone, tries to dial 911. The call fails. He tries Doug's number. No service. The elevator indicator light flashes. It's on the 9th floor and moving up. He dashes for the stairs. He stops near the stairwell door, spies a security camera. He smashes it with a golf club. The stairwell door slams open. Scott bolts down the stairs, 2, 3 at a time. He's fast, really fast. He darts for the 7th floor. On 7, Scott pops out of the stairwell, sprints for the elevators, checks the indicator. The elevator is stopped at 10. He spots another security camera just above the lift. He smashes it with a club. The elevator reaches floor 10. The doors open. Cooper steps out with his squad in combat formation. They sweep the view with their guns drawn. Cooper checks the tracker, sees that Scott is on 7th floor.
He's on 7. Take the stairs. I'll take the elevator.
Jenna, Wallace, and the mercenaries head for the stairwell. Cooper leaps inside the elevator, mashes the 7 button. On 7, Scott watches as the indicator light drops to 9, then 8. A flash. A vision. Ada putting the cover on his cell phone. Scott removes the phone's cover and finds a small tracker glued underneath. The elevator chime sounds. Scott sprints for a turn in the hallway. Cooper slides out of the elevator, scans the hallway. Empty. His squad emerges from the stairwell. He gives them a sign. Wait. He checks the phone tracker. Scott's signal is at the far end of the hallway around a turn. Cooper points in that direction. Motions for the squad to follow. They move down the hall, clubs drawn. They round the corner. It's empty. Cooper checks the phone tracker again. The phone is right here. Somewhere. He spies a trash can. He dashes for it, reaches inside, finds Scott's phone.
You gonna play games with me, shithead?
He presses his radio headset.
Check all cameras. All of the exits. Now.
Scott bursts from the stairwell onto the first floor. It's empty. He spies an emergency exit door. He opens it. The door alarm shrieks. Scott gazes out into the city streets. It's quiet. The coast is clear. He hears shouts in the building behind him. He takes a deep breath, ready to run. Then, a flash. A vision of Doug, bleeding. Then, floor 20. Doug! No! No! He turns, rushes back into the building. In the lobby, Cooper squeezes behind to the security desk, pushes a guard out of the way, searches the camera monitors. Many are blacked out. He screams into his radio.
Where is he?
We don't know.
He catches something moving on one of the monitors. Scott! At the elevators, on the 4th floor.
4th floor. Go.
On 4, Scott shoves a nearby hallway chair into the elevator's open door, jamming it open. He runs down the corridor to a second set of elevators, presses the call button. He clobbers another security camera with a golf club. He focuses, whispers, "Okay, Doug, Doug." He sees floor 20 again. Room 2002. He runs for the stairwell. Cooper, Jana, and Wallace burst through the stairwell on the other end of the hall. They dash for the elevator. Cooper spies the chair.
Clever, Scott.
He tosses it aside, enters the car. All of the floor buttons are lit up. He stops, takes a deep breath.
Floor 20. He's going for Doug. You try the other elevators. I'll cover the stairs.
On the 11th floor, Scott throws open the stairwell door, dashes for the elevator, mashes the call button, sprints for the stairwell. He hears footsteps, several stories below. He leaps up the stairs. In the elevator, Cooper's squad watches as the numbers climb. The car speeds upwards. 8, 9, 10, 11. The elevator stops. The doors open. Scott reaches floor 20, emerges from the stairwell, gasping for breath. He rushes down the hall, searching for room 2002. He finds it, stares at the combination keypad, focuses. Numbers pop into his mind. 2569. He punches in 2569. A red light flashes. He tries the doorknob. Locked. He punches in another combination. 2659. Red light. He tries another. 2965. Cooper sprints up the stairwell. Passes floor 16. He shouts into the radio.
Floor 20. Room 2002.
Scott gazes at the red light on the keypad. He focuses. Drops into the zone. Sees another number. Punches it in. Green light. He twists the doorknob. Scott enters the dim room. Looks like mostly storage, but there's another door secured with a combination padlock. Numbers pop into his vision. 3, 6, 5, 4, 8, 9, 7, 2, 6, 5, 1, 8, 7, 3, 4. He touches the lock, starts to spin the numbers. He shakes his head. Too many. There are too many. Shit. The elevator chimes faintly from down the hall. Cooper's squad emerges from the elevator in formation. Wallace presses his radio talk button.
We're on 20. Wait there. Don't move. Wait for me.
Scott searches room 2002. There's a metal cabinet filled with custodial supplies. He glances out the door into the hallway, spies a fire extinguisher. In the stairwell, Cooper, nearly out of breath, passes floor 19. He mutters into his radio.
Almost there.
Scott slams the fire extinguisher into the lock. The door breaks away from the latch. He kicks the door open, revealing Doug, nearly unconscious, duct-taped to a chair. Cooper reaches floor 20, kicks open the stairwell door, joins the squad at the elevator. Quietly, they rush down the hall and stop outside of room 2002. The door sits open. Cooper gives a hand signal. Wallace enters. He emerges an instant later, shaking his head. Cooper spies drops of crimson on the floor, a trail of blood leading down the hallway to a set of double doors, a kitchen. The kitchen's steel double doors slam open. Cooper and his squad storm inside, sweeping the room. Nothing. Go! Go! They rush for the sound, round a corner, and catch sight of Scott and Doug descending in an open-faced freight elevator. Wallace fires his weapon. Bullets barely miss Scott, ricochet off the back of the elevator shaft.
Stop, you idiot!
Cooper pushes the barrel of the pistol toward the ground.
That target is worth a fortune. Alive.
He slaps Wallace, disarms him, empties all of the ammo on the floor. He turns to the others.
You too. Come on.
They all empty their weapons.
Now, let's go.
The freight elevator button light shines. P. Parking lot. The car descends quickly. Scott eases Doug down onto the floor. Blood pours from his mouth. His eyes are purple, nearly swollen shut. Doug, hey, we're getting out of here. Doug mumbles, groans.
You have to go alone. I'm done.
No, we can get you help.
It was me. I did it. We did it.
What?
The pipeline.
Who's we?
Agonistes. We had bigger plans, but...
Who? Doug's voice fades. Then he searches his pockets, hands his car keys to Scott.
I thought this midlife crisis toy might come in handy.
Oh. Scott gazes at the elevator lights. Floor 11, 10, 9. We have to call the police.
No. Go find Agonistes. Only they can protect you now.
Where are they?
I can't be sure. But you'll find them. Trust yourself. And your guides.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
I'm sorry, Grasshopper. It wasn't safe for you to know. Find them. They know who you are.
The elevator indicator lights glow. 8, 7, 6. I can't leave you like this.
Scott, listen.
His breathing grows shallow.
What happened to you, your family, was not your fault.
What? How do you know?
Cooper and his squad are jammed into another elevator. Floor 10, 9, 8.
He slams the elevator doors with a fist.
Can't this thing go any fucking faster?
In the freight elevator, Scott holds Doug's head close to his, checks his pulse, his breathing. Nothing. The elevator lights 2, 1, L, P. Scott smooths Doug's hair, gently stretches him out on the floor, places his hand on his chest. He stands, carefully opens the freight elevator door to the underground parking garage. A chime from another elevator echoes through the garage. Heavy footsteps reverberate. Scott sprints for the sports car. Peels out. Cooper rounds the corner, spies the car, fires at the tires. He misses. The car disappears into the night. He turns to Jana, racks his pistol.
Okay, new plan.
The car speeds through the sleeping downtown, slips off city streets, and onto the freeway. Scott floors it. The urban background gives way to suburbia, then to countryside. Dark blue in the moonlight. The city glimmers in the rearview mirror. Empty fields fly by. Scott passes a road sign. Highway 32. Checks the rearview mirror. The city disappears. He's still groggy. He rechecks the mirror. His eyes dart back to the road. In the center, the headless figure blocking the road. Scott jerks the steering wheel. The car careens off the road, into a barbed wire fence. Caught in the fence, the car grinds to a halt. Scott shakes his head, feels blood running down his face. He struggles out of the driver's seat and onto the road. He scans the horizon. Nothing but fields and fences under a waning moon.
Well, shit. Okay. Agonistes.
He closes his eyes, focuses, drops into the zone. He sees Tori's face, crying. Then, a cabin in the woods. He scans the east horizon, the west. No, the south. A voice. That way. He staggers across the road, then into a field to the south, toward a thick wooded area. Halfway across the field, his feet grow heavy. His vision blurs. The horizon tilts. He reaches the edge of the woods and falls into the dirt. A thick canopy of trees obscures the starry sky. Leaves and twigs snap underfoot. A small group of people, hunched together, carry an unconscious Scott through the dark woods. The group approaches a worn cabin, partially covered in underbrush. The door cracks open. Warm light spills onto Scott's face. Hands place his head on a pillow, cover his body with a worn blanket. A thin hand caresses his forehead. Meanwhile, Russ sits alone on his couch, flips through TV channels with an iced whiskey in one hand. A framed photo rests on top of the coffee table. A younger Scott, Russ, and Jay. Outside, a large, dark SUV with tinted windows crawls along the curb, cuts its headlights, then stops in front of the house. Inside the truck, Cooper flips the visor down, clicks on the mirror light, checks his reflection. His hat and shirt bear a logo, Smith Exterminating. Jenna and Wallace sit in the back, wearing street clothes. Cooper turns to them, nods. Consciousness finds Scott. He sees only black. Then, dim light breaks through the darkness. It brightens, revealing a face. Scott squints, recognizes Tori. Her eyes are glassy, bright red. She sits on the edge of the couch in a rustic cabin. Two other women, Petra and Eris, sit nearby. A couple of other environmentalists move through the room, check the windows and the door locks. Tori? I saw you. Before. He tries to sit up. The room spins. Tori places a hand on his chest. He lies back. I saw you. Before I saw you. It's okay. Doug said you would come. You're Agonistes? She nods. Me, Doug, Lucas, us. She motions to the others, then breaks down. Petra steps up, places a hand on her shoulder. Tori, that's enough. No, it's okay. Doug sent him. An image flashes through Scott's mind. Lucas. His face is lifeless. Lucas? She shakes her head. Scott blinks back tears. It was Brett. Brett? The Blackbourne guy? He killed Riley and Lucas. He's taken over Blackbourne. What? How? Why? Why Lucas? Lucas and I had been together for a long time. He loved his father but hated his business. And we formed Agonistes. We were working from the inside, trying to turn Riley. You bombed the pipeline. Lucas lost his temper and his patience. He convinced us it was a good idea. It wasn't. And then, the motorcycle. Lucas drove too fast when he was angry. Scott's head spins. He trembles. Images fill his head. Riley bleeding, Lucas taking his last breath, Cooper chasing him up the stairs, Doug lying motionless in the elevator. Riley didn't know we were the opposition at first, but Lucas got to him. He did want to change. He thought that with you, he had a new chance. Scott sees more images. The woman on the exam table in the tower, trying to atone for old sins. Tori nods. Scott simmers. More images. The headless figure walking down the hallway. The crow at the foot of his bed. Ada spiking his drink. You left me there. We tried. Doug tried. It all just happened too fast. Cooper. Wait. Scott sits up, tries to steady his head. He grabs a pen, a paper towel from the nearby coffee table. He focuses, then sketches. The pen races across the paper. Cooper. This guy. He shows the drawing to Tori. She nods. Cooper Matheson, ex-CIA, black site goon who escaped prosecution. Brett sent him to find out who did the pipeline. Riley tried to call him off. Brett had bigger plans. Scott holds his head in pain. Chaotic images flash. No. Scott grabs another paper, furiously scribbles. He shows Tori the sketch. Russ, duct taped to a chair. Who's that? My father. Tori shakes her head. I don't get it. Scott sketches more. Cooper standing over Russ. The tower. Russ bleeding from the head. Tori takes it all in. I have to go back in. Now. Tori stares at Petra. We are going with you. Cooper rips a hood from Russ's head, revealing his mouth secured by duct tape. He's beaten, bloodied. He glances around. A large, aging boiler room. It's blazing hot. He's secured to a large pipe. Jana and Wallace, masked, hover over him. Cooper pulls his own mask up, revealing only his mouth, leans close into Russ's face, dabs at his wounds with a damp cloth. See, Russ? If you hadn't struggled, we wouldn't have had to hurt you. Russ shouts at Cooper through his gag. Now, hush. You're just going to get yourself all riled up. Scott's going to come work for me. Excellent pay, benefits, bonuses, the American dream. Just what you always imagined for him, I'm sure. Tears fall from Russ's eyes. Cooper heads for the exit. Jana and Wallace crouch next to Russ, keeping watch. Moments later, Cooper stands at the edge of the roof. The sky brightens in the east. His radio crackles.
Cooper, you sure about this?
He'll be here. Trust me. He checks his pistol, cell phone, radio, gazes out over the city. Come on, shithead. The city street outside of Blackbourne Tower is empty. The brief calm before rush hour. Early morning mist dots the concrete and steel. In the near distance, the sound of drums echoing, bouncing through downtown. Then, voices, chanting.
What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now.
A crowd of protesters appears, rounding the corner, heading towards Blackbourne Tower. Dozens of marchers, carrying signs, beating drums, banging pots and pans, whistling. The chanting continues as the protesters rush the tower, surround the front doors. Vehicles roll up. Marchers set up makeshift wooden barricades. Inside the lobby, 4 guards peer through the glass at the mob. Surprised, they scramble as the doors rattle. One calls into his radio. Sir, are you seeing this? Cooper rushes to the other side of the roof. He peers down. Fuck. Where did they come from?
I don't know.
Something hits the lobby doors. The glass cracks. A guard screams into the radio. They're gonna break in! Cooper sprints to the elevator, smashes the call button, presses his radio button. Jenna, he's here. Stay with Russ. I'm going to the lobby.
Copy that.
On the street, a large cargo van winds its way through the throng. The crowd parts. It stops near the front entrance to the tower. The protesters gather close to it. Inside the van, Scott, Tori, and Eris crouch near the side door. Petra in the passenger seat spins toward them. You all set? She motions at Scott and Tori's cell phones. They stare at them, scroll through photos of underground tunnels, blueprints, maps of the tower's interior. Scott takes a deep breath. Tori nods. We'll keep up the heat out here for as long as possible. The cops will be here soon, so there's not much time. The 3 nod at each other and tumble out of the van, heads down. Scott, Tori, and Eris crawl through the chanting protesters toward the metal grate near the base of the tower. Scott pops open the grate latch. Beneath it, a padlock. Tori inserts a key. They pull the grate open and drop into a tunnel, barely big enough to stand. Scott flicks on a flashlight and watches as Tori and Eris drop in behind him. The grate slams shut. The elevator bell chimes in the tower lobby as the door opens. Cooper rushes out, runs straight at the front doors. The guards gather around him. Cooper stares through the cracked glass door at the protesters. God, there's more of them than he thought. He scans the crowd for Scott. Doesn't see him. Glass on the second entry door cracks. Tiny pieces fall into the marble lobby floor. Cooper whips out his pistol, points it at the crowd. Get back. Get back. The crowd pounds on the glass. The chants rise. Cooper points the pistol at the ceiling, fires. The protesters freeze. Cooper points the gun at them. Get the fuck back. Protesters on the front line scream, turn, dash for the street. Others panic, push through the crowd. Some fall in the blacktop, curl up to avoid being trampled. In the van, Petra watches as the crowd dissipates. The vehicle rocks as bodies push past it. Something crashes into the windshield, bounces off. She punches the talk button on the radio. You need to hurry. It's getting hairy out here. Scott, Tori, and Eris dash through the widening tunnel, dodging overhanging pipes, electrical work. Scott checks his phone, scans the map, the photos. He whispers into his radio. Petra, we're almost to the... Scott's voice fades out in a wash of static. The van rocks.
Tori? Scott? I lost you.
In the lobby, Cooper and the guards peer through the cracked glass the protesters' hectic retreat. Outside, sirens blare, getting closer.
Fuck.
He turns to the three mercenaries.
You. Let's go. Now.
In the tunnel, Scott tries the radio as he darts through the passage. Petra! Petra! Tori stops, checks her phone. No cell service. Come on, let's go. They run a few more paces toward a closed fire door. Tori produces a ring of keys, unlocks it. A security alarm blares. No! That should have bypassed the alarm. They dash through the door and into an underground hallway, lit by dim fluorescence. Both ends disappear around blind turns. Tori checks her phone. This way. They sprint down the left corridor. Elevator doors open into the parking garage. The alarm echoes off the concrete. Cooper and the mercenaries dash out, sprint toward the door at the far end of the garage.
They're in the underground. Come on. Hustle. Let's go.
They sprint toward a door at the far end of the garage. Scott, Tori, and Eris stop at a closed door, the traditional lock, topped with a keypad. This is it! Tori! Tori produces a key, shoves it into the lock, tries to turn it. Nothing. It won't turn. Tori slides aside. Eris turns the key. It snaps off inside the lock. Shit! I broke it! What about the keypad? They examine the combination keypad. Turn to Scott. Can you do it? Scott stares at the pad. Cooper and the three mercenaries run down the stairs to the landing. They burst through the door and into a hallway. They sprint past a sign, boiler room. Tori and Eris watch as Scott stares at the keypad. He tries to find the numbers in his head, but he only sees his dad's face. God damn it! He kicks the door. It rattles. He glances at Tori, Eris, gestures at the door. Come on! 1, 2, 3! It rattles. The handle bends ever so slightly.
Again! 1, 2, 3!
On the other end of the floor, Cooper and the mercenaries dash inside the boiler room. Jana and Wallace stand over Russ. Cooper rips off Russ's hood. He groans. He's pale.
Russ, hang in there. Scott'll be here soon, and this will all be over, okay?
What's wrong with him? Cooper checks Russ.
His blood pressure is dropping.
He pauses, thinks, gestures to the mercenaries.
You two, go wait in the stairwell. Wait for my signal.
Cooper raises his pistol. The mainframe door bursts open. Scott, Tori, and Eris tumble through it. They pore over photographs of the mainframe boards on their phones. They search the circuit boards. Scott finds the right one. Ah, here. Cameras. He rips wires out. Tori searches another part of the mainframe. And power. She rips out more wires. Door locks? The lights and power go out. A second of total darkness. Then the backup power starts. Dim emergency lights glow over the door. Yes! Let's go. This way. In the boiler room, emergency lights glow. The locked door pops open on its own. Cooper draws his pistol. Static blares over the radio. Something rustles in the hallway. Jana and Wallace raise their batons. They all stare at the open doorway, see nothing but the red glow of the emergency lights.
Scott, we have your father in here. Just come with me and we'll let him go. Not a scratch on his head, I promise.
An activated tear gas grenade rolls through the open door. Vapor streams into the room.
Gas! Gas! Gas!
Cooper, Jana, and Wallace fumble in their rucks for gas masks. Pull them on.
Bad move, Scott.
Cooper grabs Russ, pulls him to his feet. He shouts at Jana and Wallace.
Go, go, go!
The two sprint for the door, batons in hand. They charge into the hallway, straining to see. Billy clubs swing out of the darkness. Jana goes down. Eris stands over her. Wallace rushes Tori, grabs her by the throat. Scott bashes his leg with a club. The man goes down. Tori stomps him into unconsciousness. A round flies over Scott's head. Cooper, his pistol smoking in his hand, emerges from the boiler room doorway with Russ.
Enough!
He puts the gun to Russ's head. Scott, Tori, and Eris freeze. Footsteps from the stairwell echo down the hall. Then, the mercenaries emerge, blocking the hallway.
Take him!
The mercenaries circle Scott.
Make sure he's alive.
Tori and Eris raise their batons, stand beside Scott. The mercenaries jockey for position, ready their clubs. Cooper shoots Tori, then Eris. They hit the ground, go still.
How many more, Scott? How many more are going to die because of you?
Scott trembles, falls to his knees, groaning. Another vision. Daylight. A small car. His mother, Jay, driving. In traffic. An intersection. A speeding pickup truck appears in her passenger side window, heading straight for her. Glass breaking, metal bending, blood. Then, A different image. Scott's childhood bedroom. Scott, a teenager, drops his pencil, stands up from his drawing table, and screams.
Mom!
Then, a funeral. Jay's face in the open casket. A younger Russ, gazing at her. Scott standing behind him. He reaches for his father. Russ pulls away. A flash. Another vision. Scott and Doug in the freight elevator. Blood seeps from Doug's mouth.
I saw it. I couldn't stop it. You can't control everything. You can't protect everyone. No one can.
A bright flash. Scott returns to the present. On his knees in the underground hallway, outside the boiler room, Scott twists in agony. He trembles, all over. Doug's voice continues.
You must forgive yourself and accept the darkest part of your story, your shadow. It's a painful process, but your true self, all of your potential, resides on the other side.
Cooper watches Scott convulse. The mercenaries are frozen in shock, but Cooper smiles. Scott sees the headless figure at the end of the hall approaching, a crow perched on its shoulder. He goes perfectly still, closes his eyes. Doug's voice echoes in his head.
And that true self is waiting.
Scott stands, turns toward Cooper.
And it's ready for you.
Scott turns toward the mercenaries, sizes them up. Another vision flashes through his mind, a flurry of lightning-quick images. The immediate future, seconds after this exact moment. Scott sees the entire future fight in his mind. Exactly what each and every attacker is going to do, and what he must do during the attack to defeat them. The vision fades. Cooper sees a change in Scott's eyes. His face falls. He pushes his gun into Russ's face. I know why I'm here.
Scott, no. Wait. I'll shoot him, I swear.
Scott pauses. Shit. He didn't see this part. He thinks about moving, but he won't be fast enough. Tori sits straight up, shoves a knife deep into Cooper's leg. He loses control of Russ. Both men fall. At once, the guards attack Scott and Tori. The fight Scott saw in his mind now plays out in real time, exactly as he envisioned it. He sweeps legs, dodges punches and batons. With lightning-quick moves and powerful strikes, he slams the mercenaries to the ground, one by one. Scott and Tori stand in the center of the hallway. Unconscious and injured surround them. He turns to her. Are you okay? Tori smiles, pulls her hoodie up, revealing a bulletproof vest. A gun racks behind them. They turn. Cooper aims his pistol at Scott's head. Inches away, Scott smiles. He did see this. A vision flashes through his mind. Cooper disarming Riley on the roof of the tower. Scott disarms Cooper with exactly the same move. A round bursts from the gun, skimming Scott's scalp. Scott pistol whips Cooper. Blood spurts from his face. Cooper falls back, recovers his balance, rushes Scott. Scott whips him again. Cooper flies backwards, into the boiler. His head collides with the iron. He crumples to the floor, holds his hands out to Scott.
Wait, please, don't.
Scott aims the pistol at his head. Then he rips out the magazine, clears the chamber. I know why I'm here. Months later, a tattered red brick building sits on a busy corner near downtown. A sign hangs near the front entrance. Sunshine Bakery. A figure climbs down via a massive ladder. It places paintbrushes in a bucket, turns to face the direction of the drums. It's Scott, a little older. The sadness in his eyes looks more like determination now. Megan, the business owner, rounds the corner, smiles. She wipes her hand on an apron, gazes up at the side of the building. Wow, that looks great. Yeah, still have a few finishing touches to do. What? Looks like it's done to me. Oh, you're a perfectionist. The work is never really done. Megan shakes her head. She taps on her cell phone. Well, I'm paying you now, Michelangelo. Scott smiles, strides toward the drums, now growing, mixed with distant chanting. Megan admires the mural. It features a smiling sun, a green earth, people dancing, singing. Scott rounds a corner into an alleyway. He pulls a notebook from his bag, jogs toward the street. A Sprinter van pulls up. The door slides open. Tori smiles, pulls him inside. Petra sits behind the wheel. Scott opens a notebook to a page filled with detailed sketches. Rooms, door numbers, a person strapped to a bed. Scott straps on a bulletproof vest and dons a dark hoodie. The van speeds down the street, catches up with a large throng of chanting protesters. The tower looms in the near distance. A new sign sits atop. JT Oil and Gas.
You have been listening to Viewing, written, directed, and produced by John Fitch, performed by Matthew Johnson, music by Stephen Bias, recording session produced by Chad Cogdill, sound design by Alex Furton, Kira Mortensen, and John Fitch. This series is dedicated to Emerson Kennedy St. John. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved. For more information, go to www.viewingseries.com.